Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm really excited to share this video with you and showcase my new release. I'm absolutely delighted with this release, and I know I say this every time, but I'm really chuffed with this release. It's taken me a long time, and the release is a little bit bigger than usual. Because, well, the main reason being is I couldn't say, no, I don't want that in the release. No, I'll leave that till next time. And in the end, I thought, no, I'll bring them out. I like them all. So that's why I couldn't, to be honest, I couldn't make a decision. So that's why I bought them all out. So I have 9 stencils and 7 stamp sets. Now, there is a bundle. Obviously, that's a considered purchase. There is a bundle with all the stamps in, and there is, this time, a bundle with all the stencils in. There are also individuals as well, just to suit everybody's budget. So what I'm going to do, as I normally do in my release videos, is I'm going to show you the product, and then I'm going to show you the samples. There's also a bundle of stamps with workshop as well, and the workshop's also standalone on the website, so it's all on my website. Now, I've put the samples on one side, and we'll go through those at the end, and I've probably done more samples than ever. So this workshop 121, is absolutely crammed with ideas, but I've done more videos than ever probably. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the stencils first. So first of all, we have 7 snippet stencils and 2 6x6 stencils. You have to bear with me because I have to pause, because when it's all different sizes, my poor little brain can't cope. So we'll start with the first one. So the first stencil, let's get some black card, which I always forget. And I don't want a massive piece of black card, but let's grab this piece of black card. So the first one is SS23, and it's called Post Frame. And I'm not reinventing the wheel here. The reason I've bought my style of postage stamp out is because I want it to put, I love having apertures, as I always have, to stamp things into, not just as a stencil, but to stamp things into. So I wanted a postage stamp, but not only just to have a stencil. I wanted a postage stamp so we can have some new projects to do. So you know how I do the Frenchies and I do the snippets. Now we'll also do some stamplets where we can just create a project that's the size of this little stamplet, and we'll create projects with that, and then you can keep them on one side and then add them to a card whenever you want to. But we'll also create little stamplets. So that's the other reason I wanted to bring this out, is because I want you to be able to create cards, journal pages, snippets, Frenchies, and now stamplets. So that's what we're going to create with those. But I obviously wanted to extend the idea a little bit. So we've got SS23, we've got the actual stencil, and we have the actual cutout bit. Now, I know that as soon as I bought this out, I thought, some people are going to say, I'm not cutting that out. And you know I love cutting out. So what I've done is later in July, because that takes longer to come out, and it's not necessary for this release. So around about, I don't know whether it's about the 25th of July, there'll be a die to coordinate with this so you can cut it out if you want to buy the die. So there'll be a die to go with this that comes out later in July. But then we've got another stencil to coordinate with this, because I didn't want it to be a one-trip wonder. I want our stamplets to be fun. So you've got this big one here, which is 23, like so, and you've got the cutout bit. But then you've also got 24, which is all these little stamplets, which can be used as a whole, as a background. You can also stamp images in there, but the die will also cut out that one, this one, and I think this one. Not the very tiny ones. I think that was too small, or was it? I can't remember, but I'll show you the die when it comes out anyway. It's not until the 25th of July or the 23rd of July, one of them things. But I knew that some of you wouldn't like cutting them out. So I have had a die made. I'm not really going to get into dies, but when I know that some of you will particularly struggle, I have had a die made to cut out a couple of these and this as well. So you've got SS24 that also works with SS23, and there'll be a die coming out later. But also in SS24, you've also got the cutout bits. We didn't know whether we were going to be able to have the cutout bits. That's why sometimes on a couple of pieces of packaging, I left the cutouts included because I was all over the place. But you've got your cutout pieces in here. Let me show you. Now, you could add these to your gel oh, good grief, your gel press. But everything that is there on that stencil is cut out, and you've got the cutout pieces. So you can create little backgrounds, put them on your gel press, use them as embellishments if you want, whatever. But I was able to give you the cutout pieces with those. So you've got the cutout pieces with those. And you've also got, let's bring this in, that, so that we can extend our ideas with this. 23 and 24 go together beautifully. So let's do that. And then what we'll do is we'll start doing some stamplets. So they're going to be called Tracy stamplets. So that's what we'll do with those. And that gives us another thing to do with our stamps. Okay, so then we got this. I'm sorry, but I'm going to try and be as quick as possible, but this is going to take me quite a while. We've then got SS25, which is ticket. And we have ST4, which is a 6x6 stencil that coordinates with this. And this is because Tracy's going to start doing ticketed snippets. You've heard that word before, because I think I had a stamp called that. But these are going to, my things are going, I've always got to have a name so that it's Tracy's something or other. So it's going to be Tracy's ticketed snippets and Tracy's stamplets. And we're going to do things with these so that we've got lots of ideas to use our stamps with and that they never gather dust. So you've got this ticket here. So there's your ticket. Again, you can stamp inside. Wonderful. You can use this as a standalone stencil in the background and stamp on the top, or you can stamp through into that. You've also got your cutout piece if you want to add ink around the outside and then lift it up, and then you've got your aperture as well. So that is SS25, your ticket. And these, my snippet stencils, are 4x4, but you can see it's a really good size. I'll go and get me ruler, tape measure, whatever you want to call it. Never get it right, but you know that the stencil is 4x4. And this little ticket is, oh, come on, Tracy, 8.5 centimetres. So it's 8.5 centimetres. So it's almost, apart from that way, it's almost all of the 4 inches, almost. But that's your ticket. So, but you can sort of judge by the size because the snippet stencils are 4x4 inches, but they're a really good size. And then what you've got is you've got a 6x6 stencil. Is that in here? Oh, have I put that out? Is it in here? Yes. So if I just pull this out, you've got this stencil. So you've got all the cutout pieces, but this ticket in the snippet, so the ticket on the snippet stencil, I'll give you a comparison, is a lot bigger than these. So it's a lot bigger than all them tickets, okay? So that's, the snippet stencil is a lot bigger than all those tickets there. But then you've got all these tickets 6x6, so you can create a background, stamp images through them, create big tickets, small tickets, so you can create your own ephemera. So that's perfect. So with our stamps, we can now create our own ephemera that we can cut out, because this is easy to cut out. And you've also got the cutout pieces with this one, because I was able to do that. You've got all the cutout pieces that coordinates with that beautifully. So that is ST4. Okay, so let's place that over there. Then we've got snippet stencil 26, and we've got a snowman. Yay! Now the idea with this, let me just move this out of the way, is, let me find the previous release. I'm trying to remember where everything is, so that you can use your snowman with your previous release. So you've got the mistletoe, you've got the poinsettia, you've got the holly and berries, you've got the little baubles. So you can use them with your snowman as well. The idea is that you can combine everything and it works beautifully together. But you've also got your little snowman cut out as well. And even if you don't want him, at least he's there. I've added 2 little hearts to this in my style because I think the hearts go rather nicely with the little snowman. And he's got a little heart on his hat here that you can then put on the top and blend inks to add the detail if you wish. So I really like my little snowman. So that is SS26. And again, not small, really good size of that. I'm really pleased with that. Now, I'm not going to dwell on the stencils. They do exactly what they say on the tin, as they say. So no explanation needed, apart from there has thought gone into this. You'll see the stamp sets and why everything works together. So this works with the previous Christmas release because I bought all that back in stock. So let's place that together. Where's the snowman? There you are. I'm trying to keep these in order. It doesn't always work, but I'm trying. And then, once you see the samples, it'll all make sense. Snippet stencil 27 is a bell. There you go. My lovely design team member, she did want a bell. And sometimes I don't bring things out if I can't make them to work, really. But we've got a nice large bell. And again, you can stamp your previous Christmas release in here. But I brought that previous Christmas release back so that we can add little bits inside if we want to. And you've also got the cutout piece as well. So a really good size. And that is your bell, snippet stencil 27. So we'll just place that back. Snippet stencil 28 is an acorn. I just wanted an acorn because I thought you can stamp bits in, little bits in here. You can stamp florals in here and make them look autumn. So your florals that you've got all the way throughout the year, you can adapt them to autumn themes as well. And you've got your acorn. You can stamp little animals in there, foliage in there. And you've got your little acorn cutout as well. These stencils just make me very happy. And it's lovely just to have our little snippet stencils. So acorn is snippet stencil 28. And then the final snippet stencil is our blackbird or crow or whatever you want. Snippet stencil, Tracy can't pick it up. Snippet stencil 29, whichever way you want to have it. One way or the other way, whichever. But you also get the lovely cutout as well. So it's our blackbird, or you can make it into a crow, whatever you want. But I adore this. I've used this quite a bit. So he works quite nicely as well. And again, all these can be used all the way throughout the year. And you can also adapt them for your seasonal makes, whether those are autumn, spring, summer, winter, whatever. So those are all your snippet stencils. Snippet stencils 23 to 29. And I've shown you the 6x6 ST4. And ST5 is Daisy Daisy. So let's bring our Daisy. No. I know I've had this Daisy one out. So there it is. This one is Daisy Daisy. And this is 6x6 inches. Now this gives you the opportunity to have a stencil background in your florals, but then you can put any of your florals or foliage on the top if you just want this in the background. You can use this as a focal image, but you can also have it in the background, and then anything else as the focal image. Even if this is in the background, you can add your animals, you can add extra background bits, but you can also add your tickets, lots of other things, your postage stamps, because you can create your own ephemera. So this is the 6x6 daisy, and you can see that's a substantial floral. That is 5 inches, and this one is 4 inches coming up to. So you've got substantial size florals there, and I will show you the samples I've made, and hopefully that will inspire you somewhat when you've seen the samples, I hope. So you've got 2 6x6 stencils, ST4 and ST5, and you've got 6 snippet stencils. Now I've added them all to a bundle on the website with a little bit off there. I can't normally give much off stencils because of the margin, but I've given a little bit off with the bundle of stencils. I've also got the individuals. There's always individuals, so we can suit everybody's budget. Now we're going to take a look at the stamps. Now I've stamped them out so that we can measure them for you. So first I'm going to do them in number order, so we'll do them that way. So TE44 is a myriad of designs, and this is exactly that. Now I was thinking about the previous Christmas release that we had. So with the previous Christmas release, I wanted extra little bits, but I wanted them to work with this release as well. So what I've done is you've got the bell. Now the bell obviously coordinates with the bell snippet stencil and the little bells. Now the little bells can go with the previous release. The little bells can go with the snowman. The little bells can go with the gnome, or you can just keep the gnome vintage and have nothing Christmassy at all. You've got little acorns. You've also got, let me just find the sunflower stamp. So on the sunflower stamp, you've got these bigger birds here, the bigger blackbirds or crows or whatever you want to call them. And I wanted some smaller ones so they can either sit on the top of his hat, or they can sit on the acorn, or they can sit on the pumpkin. So you've got some smaller ones, which I'll show you those stamped out. So let's bring those in. I know you can see all the other designs at the moment, but let's not think about that. So you've got the snowman here, and he just about fits inside the stencil. But I've bought him so that you can stencil in the background, but he stands alone as well. So he is 3 inches in height and works beautifully with your snowman stencil and the cutout of the snowman, but also works standalone. The heart also coordinates with SS12, the snippet stencil. You've then got your bells. I couldn't stamp properly here. You've then got your bell, which is 2 inches top to bottom. And then you've got your little row of bells, and you've got your little small bell, which is about 3/4 of an inch. You've also got your little tiny snowman, because he could sit inside the bell, inside the baubles that we've already got out for SS6 and 7. So he can sit inside there. So he is just over an inch, about 1.25 inches. So he can sit inside the baubles that we've already got out in a previous release, or he can sit inside the snowman stencil. I've tried to think about it all. You've then got the acorns. The acorns can sit inside the acorn, or you can use them standalone with any of your nature-themed stamping or florals. I've then added a little bit of ivy so that you can chop that up and add it to your Christmas makes or your floral makes. So this one, this long sort of vine here, is almost 4 inches top to bottom. And the idea is you can use that with your Christmas makes, or you can use it with your florals, your nature themed, anything you wish. But you can also chop it up and add little bits to your projects, or make your own little cutout bits. Just perfect. I've also then created my own little sort of leafy heart and my heart vine, and that's just over 2.5 inches, almost coming up. Yeah, 2.5 inches. It's just over, that one is. So that's like my heart vine. So that is this stamp set here. And when you see the samples, I'm hoping these then will speak to you. The pumpkin. Did I not stamp the pumpkin out? Well, that's useful, isn't it? I didn't stamp the pumpkin out, but don't worry. I can show you that on the samples because I've made samples. But in width, that is 2.25 inches that way. And the smaller pumpkin is 1 inch. So 1 inch for the small pumpkin and 2.25 inches for the bigger pumpkin. And wait till you see them stamped. Absolutely gorgeous. Or we could just take the stamp out, not be lazy, and just stamp the pumpkin. So let's take the pumpkin. Remember to peel your stamps away from your acetate when you first get them, because they're brand new and you've got that stickiness to them. So just remember to just peel away. Don't stretch your stamps. So let's take that pumpkin. Where are we going to stamp that? So let's take the pumpkin and we'll just stamp that in the black ink because Tracy's a drip and didn't stamp the pumpkin. That's because when the stamps arrive, I get too excited. I just can't wait to stamp them out. I'm terrible. So you'll have to excuse this piece of card because it's got more marks on it than anything because I've refused to throw it away. So we'll just allow that ink just to sit on there a few moments. It's quite a good size stamp on there. So let's just give that a few seconds just to grab hold. Well, I still didn't. As you can see, I still missed a bit. But you can see the pumpkin on there. There we go. So just leave that on a bit longer, but it is absolutely gorgeous. Wait till you see the samples. So this is TE44. It's that way, isn't it? TE44, and it's a myriad of designs. That is the only Christmas one that I've bought out for this year because we have beautiful previously released that these can all work with, and now we've got the stencils as well. We've got more than enough we can create our seasonal makes with. This is an A5 stamp. So let's move to our next stamp. Our next stamp is TE. Let me move these out of the way. Our next stamp is TE45. Now, in previous designs, I've had a stamp called Through the Meadows, and it's sold like hotcakes. But obviously, now I'm under my own branding, I like to bring out different things. So I wanted to bring something out like a collage type stamp with the butterfly, and a different butterfly and different elements. So that's exactly what I've done. This TE45 is called Dog Rose and Butterfly, and this is an A5 stamp. And what you've got is you've got this collage, and then I've added a little bit of text talking about the garden. So that talks all about the garden. An outdoor space where plants, trees, vegetables and herbs can be grown. A place to relax and unwind. A peaceful, calming place to create your own little oasis. And the idea of that is it's a tiny text, and you can stamp that in the background with any of your florals or your nature themed stamps, and it sort of makes sense if anybody tries to read it. So that talks about the garden. So you've also got, so you can see here I've created this collage, and what I've done this time is I've separated some of these bits so we can also develop that collage. So you've got a bigger piece here. Can you see it's there in small version? Let's bring the stamp in. It's here. If I bring this down, you can see here it's there in that small version, but it's actually here in a bigger version as well. Then you've got our beautiful dog rose, and we've got the dog rose text here. Dog rose, a scrambling beauty that often adorns hedgerows. We've got a couple of words: be unique, with brave wings she flies, nature, be unique. And then I've bought out the pen nibs, but I've bought one large one, one small one. And what you can see is, you'll see like a little label here, 149 on there. I've also bought that out separately on the same stamp set. So again, you can extend this collage. So it can be extended on and on and on, because all the elements work together beautifully. And the idea is you can use this standalone. All the elements can be used standalone, but you can also add to that collage to make it look different, because everybody will add to the collage in a different way. There's also like a little ticket on here. You've got that ticket separately, and that will then give you your own ephemera. So, I mean, really, ephemera, it's like old tickets and old, you know, that you save maybe from trips away or whatever. I don't know why we call it ephemera anyway, because, you know, categorically it's sort of, it's like old vintage pieces that maybe you've saved or whatever. But you can now create your own little embellished pieces. So we've also got a beautiful dog rose, which is here, and it's a really good size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure a few of those elements for you. So the collage measures about 4 inches top to bottom. So it's 4 inches top to bottom. You've then got these pen nibs. The idea is things can stand on those. So this pen nib, the large one, you can use it either way, by the way. So it's 2.5 inches, that one. So you can use it as number 9 or number 6. It's entirely up to you. And so that was 2.5. The smaller one is 1.5. So you've got beautiful details here. You've also got this foliage type image, which is just over 3.5 inches. So this one is just over 3.5 inches, which means that this can be used standalone, or you can use it with your florals, you can use it with your Christmas, you can use it with your autumn makes, and you can use it with your spring makes. So you can use it all year round. So that's the whole idea of it. You can use it all year round. Now, the lovely dog rose, a good, really good size floral to colour in. And this is around about 3.5 inches. So top to bottom, around about 3.5 inches. So that is your stamp set TE45. And TE45 is an A5 stamp set. So there's 2 A5 stamp sets. I may as well bring in the... No, we'll do them in... Am I going to do them in order? 44, 45. Yes, we'll do them in order, she says confidently. Your next stamp set is TE46. And TE46 is Lobelia, or my version of Lobelia. And in there, you've got the words timeless beauty, take time to appreciate the little things, made by hand and with love, precious moments, Lobelia, a perfect day, the sun is shining, the birds are singing, and the breeze is blowing. Another text that you can just stamp in the background, add little words as the focal point. It can just spread across the whole library of imagery. And if we come into this little stamp set here, it is here. This is an A6 stamp set. So we have our Lobelia spike, and I'm thinking more of the perennial Lobelia rather than the bedding Lobelia. And it can do for both. But when I was taking inspiration, it was from a perennial Lobelia in my garden. Now, the perennial lobelias, you will find them in purple, pinks, lilacs, white. So lots of possibilities, deep blues. So lots of possibilities. Now, in the Lobelia image, let's just bring this up a little bit, just so you can, let's just fold that a bit. You can see these sentiments you've got. You've got this image here, which you can chop up, add it for your meadow stamping. You've also got the florals done in different formats, so you can use them in different ways, and then the smaller version. And I've also given you another sort of kind of leafy branch so that you can extend those florals from the previous releases even further. So these type of leafy ones can be used as standalone, or you can extend those florals. So the Lobelia stem is 3.5 inches, 3.5 inches, that one. The little leafy piece here is just over 2.5. These florals, that little standalone floral is just over 1.5. Yep, just over 1.5 inches. And these are obviously smaller. Your little leaf, so that you can use it in the background as a background stamp, is just over 1.5 inches. So it gives you the scope, it gives you the capability of having a good composition, because you've got lots of different scales of images, so you can get lovely contrasts of imagery, and it works really nicely, all working across the whole library of imagery. So that is TE46 Lobelia. TE47 goes beautifully with the dog rose. Okay, so this dog rose here that was in 45, it goes beautifully with this A7 stamp here, which is wild and free, which is another sort of pared back dog rose, more simplified, but on a branch. And you could extend that branch if you want, sit things on there, sit things behind there, colour this however you wish. But if you can only afford an A7 stamp, it's a beautiful A7 stamp. And you can cut those out individually. There's also the words wild and free and appreciate the little things. So this is this image here. So just because you've got an A7 stamp doesn't mean it's not a good size. So sort of on the diagonal, it's 3.75 inches from there to there. So 3.75 inches. So that is TE47. What's 48? I'm losing myself now. TE48. Oh, yes. I've not even stamped these out. I've not even stamped these out. That's how good I am. I know why. I was too busy making samples. So this is TE48. If we just pull this stamp set out, which is going to be very inky because I've used it. TE48 is an A5 stamp set. And there's some beautiful florals on here. And I've got some chickens. I needed chickens. So we've got some chickens. I'm so chuffed that we've got chickens. We've then got my version of an Echinacea. So we've got an Echinacea there with the wording separate Echinacea. And it differs from the size on the front cover. So this stamp is 4.75 inches top to bottom, 4.75 inches top to bottom. So that stamp is really lovely. So I do this, you say, I'm not going to make it long-winded, and I'm just dreadful. Let me just stamp that one. I'm not going to stamp them all, but just let me stamp this. Just peel that back, it's sticky. That's just the residue from the manufacturing process, and that wears off quite quickly. So let's take our floral. I'm so excited. I can't get my words out fast enough. So let's just ink that up. And you can see the detail in that beautiful stamp, particularly if you use your VersaFine Clair. I would recommend that you always use your VersaFine Clair inks with this stamp, or your Distress Oxides, because you need it to pick up that detail. An archival ink is not going to be suitable. The main reason, by the time you stamp this half and then you go to stamp this half, with an archival, that half is already dry and you won't get a good image. That's why we recommend a VersaFine Clair ink pad, because it stays wetter longer. Now, with these detailed stamps, just give them some time just to do their job. Don't be in too much of a rush, even though Tracy is, because I'm always eager to show you what I've made from them. There we go. So you can see that lovely Echinacea. Let's put that back just so you can see the beautiful detail in there. I absolutely love that. So it's a beautiful, beautiful stamp. And of course, I will say that about every stamp because I do every time, because I wouldn't design it if I didn't like it. Then we've got these beautiful florals here. So you can see here, we've got this sort of long stem. That's separate, look, this little flower is separate. And you've got this long, let me lift this up for you. You've got this long floral here. It is beautiful. So this one here, and I'll show you how it works in different places, but it's just beautiful. So I'll measure that for you. So let's take this and we'll measure this floral. So, which is difficult because you've got one part that sort of goes off at an angle. So it's about 4 inches top to bottom. That stamp is 4 inches top to bottom. You've then got, so can you see here, you've got a little bit on its own. That means you can extend this. You can add that to this if you want. So you can add that to this, or with this, which comes from this, you can extend this. So the idea is I've broken this apart here, but it means you can extend this arrangement further. And I've also given you this one here. You can add that to this or this. So I've done it so that this time you've got florals that you can extend like you would a collage stamp. So you can actually extend these florals. Let's just bring this out. Let me show you. So you've got that floral there. Can you see it? And it's also here on its own, just looking slightly different and longer. So you can extend these florals. So it's just a beautiful way to extend those florals. And I love the detail in them. I'm so chuffed with them. I love how it dangles all the way down. So there's just lots of possibilities. Now with all these stamps and stencils, I haven't even scratched the surface, yet I've made more samples than I've ever done. It's taken me just hours and hours and days to create the samples. We've also got chickens. I'm so chuffed we've got chickens. So that these chickens are about 1 inch, and the smaller chickens are not even ½ an inch. So again, you get that contrast because you've got the bigger chicken and the smaller chickens. The chickens make me happy. Now, what words have we got on there? We've got a little note. Today is full of possibilities. On your special day, I love the sentiment, nature feeds the soul. Love it, doesn't it too, right? The happiest moment and your Echinacea. So that is TE48, nature feeds the soul. But there's also a beautiful standalone floral here, which means you can add this to the background. Let's just take this off. Let's bring this floral in. So you can add this to the background with that on the foreground, and this is your background stamp, or that is your background and this in the foreground, with all these possibilities of extending those designs so that you never get bored of the possibilities with your stamps. I don't want my stamps gathering dust. I want you to use them until they're so black and inky and the acetate's well used. I want them to be used. So that's why I pour my heart, and I really do, I pour my heart and soul into designing them. And I try to think of everything. But that is an A5 stamp set, TE48. So at the moment, you've got 3 A5 stamp sets. You've got the A6 stamp set and the A7 stamp set. So what's 48 now? So 48, stamp set 48. I just love this. It's my chicken. I love the chicken. Look at my chicken. Chicken. I love him. Sorry, I am slightly a bit hyper. So this, how do you measure him? From his foot to the top of his head is 2.5 inches. Width-wise, a bit impossible to measure, about 2 inches. 2 inches there to there, and bigger there to there, 2.25 inches. And he is, in my opinion, he's a handsome chappy. He really is. Now, I've added the word chicken, but I've also added the words our feathered friends, because you know that I love birds, and you know that I've got lots of birds in the range, and I continue to bring them out, but then we've got a lovely word we can put with them, our feathered friends. So I've added that, and I just love him. I love him. So I have to say he's one of my favourites. So I love him, the little chicken, and that is an A7 stamp. And then another stamp set I haven't stamped, our final stamp set, TE50. So TE50 is on the wild side, and I love this one too. Now the idea behind this is the mushrooms can be used on their own. The butterfly can be used with previous releases, standalone, or added to your collage, or with your florals. And also my lovely DT member, Patricia, adores butterflies, and she likes me just to every now and then remember the butterflies. But this would go beautifully with your collage, your florals, your mushrooms, anything. So that's pretty generic. I've also got a lovely foliage one here. Let me just bring in that white card, because it's really lovely. It would actually, even though it's not Christmas, I think this would be beautiful for Christmas. Look at that. I think that would be really beautiful for Christmas, I do. I think it's just stunning. Let's just stamp that. I don't know how to shut up, really. I keep saying I won't take long, and it's just impossible. So if you think I've poured many months into these, so it does take me a while to go through them. So let's just stamp this with an acrylic block way too big. Nobody needs an acrylic block that big. Just look at that. I just love that. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. You imagine your arrangement, whether it's Christmas, spring, seasonal, winter, little frosty branches. I just love it. I think that is just gorgeous. I love that. And then you've got these trees here. Now we've got some trees on TE23, and TE23's got some trees, and I wanted some more trees that you can use with the baubles, SS6 and 7, and you can use with the stamp sets TE, what do they go to? TE18 to TE23, is it? TE23, something like that. So these trees go beautifully with those. You've then got your mushrooms. I'll just stamp this bigger mushroom set just so that you can see the detail. Not that I really need to, because you can see it with the acetate, but I'm going to stamp it anyway. So let's stamp them mushrooms. Now again, I've given you small, medium and tiny, because of your compositions. So let's just add this here. So we'll just add our mushroom. And this is an A6 stamp set. So in the full release, you've got 3 A5, 2 A6 and 2 A7. And I can hand on heart say that these all coordinate with every single other stamp, and also all coordinate with each other in this release. But just look at the mushrooms. I absolutely adore them. And then you've got little mushrooms standalone. So standalone, smaller version, standalone, because of your composition then. So these can also be used in the bell, in the acorn. You can use them in so many ways. And the words that are on there, you've got on the wild side, wilderness and natural. So then you can create some of your, if you like, your vintage kind of stamping. You can go down the vintage route or even really colourful. So now I always get the exciting bit because I love making the samples, and I have to say I've loved making these more than ever. So I've created loads of samples, and every single one of these samples are in workshop 121. So let's just place all these back. So all the samples are in workshop 121. And even if you buy one stamp, honestly, the workshop is, even if I say it myself, I've poured my heart into it. And I just think it's a wonderful workshop, I really do. And I know you shouldn't blow your own trumpet, but I have poured my heart into it. So I really do hope you like that. Now, before I show you the samples, there are some people that I need to thank. First of all, you, the customers, because as a small business, it's only possible to do what I love because you've been there and you've supported me. So a huge thank you to you all. You make it possible for me to do what I've always loved doing, and that's creating, because the designing is relatively new. I've only been designing for about 8-9 years, but the actual creative side I've been doing for nearly 30 years, and I just adore it. I absolutely love it. So just remember, we're going to start some new themes: ticketed snippets, Tracy's ticketed snippets, and Tracy's stamplets, and I'll have a hashtag for those as well. But obviously it'll take me a little bit of time to, you know, do some of those, because I need a little rest after I've packed the orders, if I get any orders, of course. So my priority will be packing any orders. So I want to spend a few moments now just thanking my little team, my design team. Now, they're not just a design team. Sometimes we say it a bit flippantly, oh, you know, the design team. They're actually friends as well. So they're a design team who I've come very close to. I adore them. They're lovely. And we have, you know, Lisa, who's just joined us just recently. I just adore them all. They're so enthusiastic and supportive and genuine. They're just wonderful people. So I'd just like to send shout outs to my lovely design team, because without them, obviously I've done samples because I adore doing samples, but I can't just have my samples. You need to show what somebody else can bring to the table. And without somebody else bringing that to the table, I can't show you how versatile they are if I only do them in my style. So we have the lovely Lucy, we have Anne, we have Victoria, Rebecca, Patricia, Lynn, who's in America, Lisa Magic Maker, who's joined us recently and will be doing videos in my group, hopefully every Friday at 7 o'clock. Heidi Walker also helps out considerably. She does a lot of videos. She does for varying companies, but she does me some beautiful videos and also has another different slant on the stamps. So Lisa is totally different to my style, and Heidi's different to my style. In fact, the whole design team are different to my style. For instance, if you're looking for something with fabric, you should look up Lucy. She's absolutely brilliant. And if you're looking for somebody that shows you a little bit more simplified, a more sort of watercolour approach, more dreamy, then look up Victoria. If you're looking for a more pared back, modern, classy approach, then look up Rebecca. Patricia and Anne will offer you a variety. They sort of offer you anything from collage to grungy to masterboards to mixed media. They'll offer you a wide variety. So there's somebody for everybody, but I would love you to look them all up. We've also got Nicola Moss. Nicola is on Heidi's team, but Nicola helps out Heidi in her group. Now, Nicola has a more very pared back approach. So if you want to see something very pared back, then look up Nicola in Heidi's group. So a huge thank you to those lovely ladies, without whom, you know, this isn't a complete team. A team, we all work together. We're a team. It's not just about me. We work together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that fan up because I'm a lady of a certain age and I am boiling. So I'm going to bring in my samples, but where are we? Oh, there we are. Now I'm just going to show you the pile of samples I've made, and these are all in the workshop. And I'm going to bring the samples in one by one. I am super chuffed with these samples. I know you shouldn't blow your own trumpet really. So this is my first sample, and this is in workshop 121. And you can see I've still used TE11 in there, which is from a previous release. You can see the foliage stamps. I said to you that you can really extend your designs. So from those A5 stamp sets and A6 stamp sets, there's those little birdies again, because I'm addicted to standing birds on things. There's my own ephemera, little bit of sort of make-believe enamel kind of element. Then we've got that stencil 6x6 grunge stencil that you can see there. But look at my blackbird or crow or whatever you want. I adore this sample. And every time I try to come close, my camera's going, don't be ridiculous. But you've just got, I just want to spend a little time appreciating them, because honestly, I've spent hours and hours doing them, just so that you can see the samples, just so you can see the detail in those. So that is sample number 1. Sample number 2, so that used my blackbird one. I love this little bit down here, just from TE11. Oh, it just makes me happy. Right, we've then got our acorns, and I adore this. Can you see TE32 there with the little tag from Alpha Florals? Still got TE11 here, but if you look in the background, you can see detail in the background here. But look at the acorns. There's that little bird again. Just love that little bird, and there's one up there as well. I just adore these. I'm so chuffed with how my stamps, from looking at them, from first initial thinking about them to what they look like on a card, they're even better than I thought. I love them. I just hope you like them as much as me. So there is the acorns, just so you can see the acorns. So that's sample number 2. Sample number 3 uses the bells. I love all that sort of frosting that I've just got on there. See, little snowman, just so you can see. It's all textural. Can you see in the background? There's those little bells. Come on, camera. There's those little bells. The bells. So there's the little bells. There's the bells from TE44. This is the stencil. There's grunge. Just so you can see that. But it is really textural. But just so you can see that. I absolutely love them. I just, even when I look at them, I'm like, oh, I'm so chuffed with them samples. So that's the bell. Sample number 4. Let's move them away from there. Is our dog rose. Just so you can see the beautiful dog rose in its own right. Grunge stencil. And I've cut up the wording just so that you can see. I just love. I like to tilt them because you can see all the details and the colours. So chuffed with them. So let's place that there. Sample number 5 uses our Lobelia, our postage stamp, our foliage, grunge stencil, TE11 in the background, but it just looks lovely. There's a small postage stamp in the background there, just so you can see that. Just here is a small one, so there's a small postage stamp, just so you can see all the details in there. So we're then on sample number 6. So we've used the ticket stencil, the Lobelia, the enamel type tag, like so. Part of this sort of ticket up here to create like a little trim with a little bit of the Lobelia there as well, just so that you can see just how they all work together. Let's bring that in so you can see all the detail in the card. That's sample number 6. Another one of my favourite samples here coming up. Again, using the blackbird, come crow, whatever. I just love that. And I've used the cat family stencil, SS15. Can you see? The cat's inside the bird and the bird inside the cats and the cat. I love that. And this heart's from TE10, Quirky Birds. Grunge stencil. I just love them. I think I'm just going to stare at these samples day after day, because I really have poured my heart into them to try and bring you as much variety as I possibly can. So that's sample number 7. I've then got another one with the acorns and our pussycats to prove that it all coordinates with the previous releases. And the grunge stencil. Can you see that? It's all very textural, just so you can see that. And these are all in Workshop 121. No wonder I need the fan on, I'm so hot. Every time I recorded a video, I think I said, oh, I'm just turning the fan on every video. Just so you can see that. I just adore it. I love that card as well. So what are we up to now? How many cards have we made? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 cards. Oh, I love this one as well. I'm going to keep saying this. The pumpkins. Just look at the pumpkins. I love the pumpkins. Just let's tilt that so you can see there's dimension just on those pumpkins. Look at the foliage, how it comes in. And isn't that sentiment perfect for the, I thought, for the pumpkins, nature feeds the soul. I could look at them forever. I love them. I love this as well. Just a little bit of yellow there. Small things, some use small minds, but I just absolutely adore them. Just making sure that you get a really good look, mainly because I've worked so hard on them. And I want you to see every little detail on there. Can you tell? I've loved this release. Can you tell? Sample 9. Now a little bit more of a pared back approach with the pumpkins. And that's with the stencil SS23, the postage stamp. Doesn't it look perfect there? So that could be like your first stamplet that you just create and cut out ready for a card. But just so you can see that. Just, I adore them. Chicken! Love that chicken. But the foliage again there works so beautifully. Really nicely. Really love that. What are we on now? Is it card 10? Yep, card 10. So then we've got a floral card. I just love this element as well on its own. Little chicken, TE11, and that lovely Echinacea. Just so you can see, there's a little, that one's got dimension, this one's flat. Just so that you can see that. And of course the chicken had to appear. Just so you can see all the detail. I've not even touched the surface. We're on sample 11, now this is sample 12. And this is with the ST5 Daisy Daisy. Can you see? You've got the Daisy Daisy on there. You've got that element that I've added. You've got the pen nib I've added. Little bird. But just so you can see that. So you can see all those elements. Card 12. So let's just go on to the next card again, using the postage stamp stencil and our little what do you call it? Crow, bird. God, you know, couldn't spit it out then. I was like, what am I calling it? Just so you can see, we've got the little bird on there as well. Just so you can see that. So you've got your crow, blackbird, the postage stamp, the bird inside the bird, the tinier, smaller postage stamp stencil, two birds from the sunflower. Just so you can see that. I love that. I love that. Within, within, within. Just love them. Love that. Let's place that back. Onto our next sample. I've lost count now, but I'll count them at the end. There's that floral that I said to you that you can extend if you wish. You can extend this floral here, just so you can see that. There's the ticket. Our bird again. The floral, just so you can see that. The only cut out bit is the wording. Just so you can see all the details. And I'm just appreciating them myself, I must admit. Just love looking at them all over again. Lift this up. And then I've gone for sort of a Christmassy theme with our snowman and the trees, and he's holding a little bell and the bird's standing on his hat, but I've just used the stencil there so it's all flat and it's got a little bit of twinkle. Can you see the twinkle? A little bit of twinkle in there, a little bit of texture, like snowy texture, but we have a little bit of twinkle on the card. Just hopefully you can see the twinkle. There we go. Got our snowman. Again, these are all in the workshop. I've then got the dog rose on its own with one of the birds that I've changed the look of, just so you can see. Let's do it that way and that way, just so you can see the floral. Just love that. Just so you can see that. It's got a lovely dog rose on its own. Then I've got the chicken with the snippy stencil heart, SS12. Our chicken, the mushrooms, love them mushrooms, our feathered friends. And there's that floral again that I pointed to. Just lovely. Love the floral. Does it look lovely? Just love that. They all work together in their own right as well, but also with those previous releases, just so that you can just see all of those. That one's on craft card. Then we've got the pumpkin and the blackbird or crow, whatever you want it to be. Our feathered friends, just so you can see all the detail in there. I love how the pumpkin turned out on that. Just love that. Just tilt it to one side, just so you can see what you're looking at. Again, all in workshop 121. This pile now. Then we've got the bird and the bird. So the two birds together, the chicken and the blackbird. Like I was holding a little bell. We've got our chickens on there as well, just so you can see those. Just love them, just so you can see all the detail just on there, just so that you can see those. It's lovely looking back on them when you've made them. It really is. You sort of really, you know, appreciate them. We've then got another seasonal make this time, but with the bells. And I've used the poinsettia from the previous release. So the poinsettia is TE20, I think. But then you've got holly and berries, TE21. The trees from TE50. Just love it. Just so you can see all the detail just in there. I just love them, absolutely love them. Just so you can see that. So that's more of a seasonal make. But I've seriously never made so many cards before a release before. Then we've got, you know, the collage one from TE45 with the butterfly. I've used that butterfly with the ticket stencil, and here's the foliage where you can use it on its own as well. Pen nibs, and what I've done is it's exactly what I said you could do, and extend that collage. So I've actually extended the collage on this piece, but I've also used the ticket stencil SS25 on that, just so that you can see all those details. Love them. That one. Then we've got our little gnome with the bauble stencil from the previous release, SS6. There's that heart foliage that I told you about. Is that from T50? But that heart branch sort of thing. Then we've got the bauble, and then we've got the gnome. Just so you can see our little gnome. And again, we create all this in the workshop, just so that you can see all that detail. So they definitely do all mix and match. Let's pick that up again. Then we're coming to the last three samples. We've then got the dog rose with the lobelia and the birds, just so you can see the detail. It's a lovely colour palette. A little bit more dimension. That Lobelia is lovely in that purpley colour. Really lovely. Just so that you can see that. Really lovely in that colour. Good job they've all dried. And then I did one with the Wild and Free, the A7 stamp set. A little bit more pared back with the Wild and Free, just so you can see that. So you can see our pared back one as well. And it's just, they just all work so beautifully, and you could quite easily extend on this one as well. And then we've got one more card to show you, and we'll just count those cards up. And I've got a square card, again with the dog rose, this time adding some of that foliage that is on the TE45 with the butterfly collage, just so you can see that. So you can see. Do you know, I've absolutely adored creating these samples. I really have. So I'll just count these up so you know how many cards are in that workshop. So let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. There are 25 cards in that workshop and 21 videos, and they're all in the workshop waiting. So I think that's everything I wanted to say. Just hope you love them as much as I have creating them, whether it was from scratch or in the samples. I've just adored making with them. So I just want to say thank you everybody, love to all, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now. Bye everyone.